Um, and you are all very welcome. What I think what I like to do, and Sandra's going to speak in a minute, but what I'd like to do, what I always like to do when we have a group of people just come on, um, is to take a moment just to close our eyes and land in this moment. So I just invite you right now to actually close your eyes. Welcome, welcome. Just to close your eyes. And you can be seated or standing, whatever is comfortable for you. But when you close your eyes, just to notice what happens in your body. We've taken away one stimuli, and I find as soon as I close my eyes, I shift a little bit inward and I actually get a little bit quieter. So with those closed eyes, you can let yourself, if you're standing, sway a little bit. If you're seated, just sway a little bit. Let your jaw soften and let your attention come to the soles of your feet for a moment. And just to soften, we hold much more tension in our feet than we realize. To soften, imagine your feet are like pancakes and they're just kind of spreading, giving them some air in a sense. So then the jaws softened. Take a moment to just notice how your neck and shoulders feel. You might notice we hold so much without realizing it. Ah, my shoulders just want to move a little bit. My eyes are still resting. They're sinking back behind my eyelids. The image I love is that they're hammocks behind our eyes, that the eyes can just kind of sink back into. Ah. And then allowing your muscles right now to soften onto your bones. These bones, which are there to carry, really, to carry our muscles, that inner structure. The muscles can soften onto your bones. Ah. And then just become aware of your breathing. Just become aware of it. And as you breathe, to have the sense that when you inhale, there's a slight expansion in your body. And when you exhale, there's a softening. Just gentle. It's nothing that you do, it happens in our bodies, but we often don't pay attention. So to inhale, feel that soft expansion, and exhale, there's a softening in the whole body. Expanding with the inhale. Ah, I often sigh, and softening with the exhale. Just that alone begins to slow things down. And again, let your jaw soften and even let the tongue be soft in the mouth. Just allowing ourselves to arrive here in this moment, just to arrive. It's another thing we don't often do is pay attention to transitions, and I think they're really important. Just landing. And then have a sense that you could actually take a breath that comes up the back of your spine. Just imagine this breath traveling up from your tailbone all the way up the back of your spine, up over the crown of your head, and exhaling down your front body, softening your heart a bit. And then just there with those soft eyes closed, let an image come that actually brings a smile. Just any image to pop up that brings a smile. And we'll do that once more, inhaling up the back, up the spine, feeling that wonderful length in your body. up over the crown of the head. Exhale down the front body, softening. Softening your heart. And then again, let an image come that just brings a smile. I'll talk about that more later. And once more, inhaling up the back, all the way up the spine, up over the crown. Exhale down the front body, softening the heart. Ah, and a pause here, just a pause. Soften the feet. Ah, and now before, excuse me, before you open your eyes, let yourself turn away from the screen before you open your eyes. And then when you look around your space, let your eyes open and land on something that gives you a sense of comfort or ease. So look around and let your eyes land on something that gives you a sense of comfort or perhaps brings a smile to you. That's right here in your environment. Maybe it's something you haven't looked at in a while. That's there. And then when you're ready, come on back to the screen. Yeah. Ah. And I'm going to pass it to Sandra right now. And I'm so appreciate all of you showing up. And again, I'm going to just put one more request in if it's possible to show your faces. It would be wonderful. Thank you. Thanks, David. It makes a difference to see who's here.
Hey,
Okay.
just a quick question.
Yeah.
Where is the recording being shared?
Oh, good
You're
question.
asking us to show our faces.
Yes, that's an excellent question. I believe, I mean, I think this time around, I'm not sure if it'll be, I mean, and we certainly would want people's permission, but I think it would just be shown, if it's shown on the Commit to Democracy website. Um, but I think Linda said this time around she wants to just take notes from this. That's my understanding.
And when it is shared, I last time we did this, she edited out all the participants. Uh, I'm not sure if your face showed up, but none of your remarks. She just
No,
had
no, it's no faces.
no
She edited.
faces, just the part when Karen and I were guiding David. So that's a really good question, and certainly understand your concern. Absolutely. So there's a sense of protection around it.
No
Uh,
name. Yeah, no names either, Diane.
yes,
It doesn't
right.
show anything. It just
And
shows.
we'll pass this on to Linda to make sure that this what we're saying is true.
It
Okay.
is, no, it is true because I looked at the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, but those are really,
Yes.
thank you for asking. Very
Yes.
important. Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
So thanks, Karen. So great to have you all here this morning. And I've been having the good fortune to be doing this work with Karen for near 20 years. And I just find it essential for my well-being, self-care, resilience, how I'm able to offer to others with being able to come back to myself and tap into my strength as a human being, helps me be able to keep my wits about me, my heart open, and my body rolling with all the things that we want to do. And I know all of you, if you found this workshop through Commit to Democracy, we know you're already doing a lot and you're committed and probably stretching yourself a little thin with the next rally that's coming up at the end of the month. So there we are. Here we are with this time. So just a few little reminders about Zoom. We're old hands at Zoom now, right? So if you're not speaking, please be on mute. And it would be great if you feel comfortable sharing your physical presence so we can see you. It helps to foster that sense of circle or community that we're in together, but understand if that's not possible and take your care of yourself. If you want to show up a little, disappear a little, that's okay. We're going to go for roughly an hour and it will include some movement guided, then some remarks about sort of the context of working with fear, what helps, where it comes from, how what helps with working with it, and then some more guiding, and then we'll have a chance to share about what's coming up for us and questions, and just have a good little chat, we hope. And then Karen and I will stay on for about 10 minutes after the workshop's officially over, after we stop recording, in case you have questions or if there's anything else that you want to share on a more personal level or anything like that. And the recording will go out and you'll have contact information for us if you want to follow up in any way. I think that's a bit. So we aspire for this to be a safe space for us to really, it's not putting on airs, to just be, we know we're good activists, but to just be just as we are in this moment, sharing so that we can take this workshop in, and even though it's such a short time, and really be helpful for us and for each of us as community. I think that's about it. Did I forget anything, Karen?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, the purpose, that quote.
Oh, yes. I'm going to include that in the remarks, but yes, so this is a great, we come back to this. Thank you. Good. See, we're collaborators. Love this quote. The purpose of fear is to raise your awareness, not stop your progress, by Steve Maraboli. The purpose of fear is to raise your awareness, not stop your progress. And yeah, so that's sort of our signature for today. So, Karen, I think I'm going to go back to you now. If you want to say a little bit about the work, maybe, and then do some additional guiding. What do you
Sure.
think? How's
Yeah,
that
I
seem?
think what
Okay.
I'll do is spotlight so you can see me
Okay.
as we go into a little more guiding. Uh,
Yeah.
but first, I just want to make sure, just check. We'll do some uh, checking in with you all after we've given you some experiences, but I just want to check and make sure that no, if you have any questions right now, just wanted to check in.
Right. Or anything you want to offer right now. Thank you, Karen.
Okay.
Great. Good.
Okay. So, um, here I am. Um, I'll just say a few words about this, the work, Essential Motion. The premise of the work that I've developed for 40 years and that Sandra's been involved with for 20 years is it's about learning to deeply listen to the signals in our bodies and to really use our bodies as guides. Um, and the gift of that to me ultimately is that I feel that we can find more peace within ourselves through the guidance of our bodies. And as I was thinking about meeting with you all today, I was thinking, really, I mean, ultimately, I'm making some assumptions about you, but that we want peace. We want peace in the world. And and the first place we need to find it is in ourselves, in ourselves. And you see, I immediately go right here, right here. Um, and this morning, my power was out. And I was like, okay, this workshop's coming and the power's out. And so I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And then I thought to myself, I have to walk my talk. I have to do the things that I tell, guide others to do under stress. And so I'm going to take you on the trip that I just went on. And one of the first things I do, and I invite you again to, if you standing up is the other thing, I want to encourage people to stand up if you're comfortable with that, because one of the things we do is sit way too much. We just spend too much time sitting and then we sort of forget. And part of all of this is to bring back to awareness the ways that we kind of forget ourselves and go unconscious. And I will say that, I can scroll and scroll and scroll, and then I don't realize how much tension I've gotten in my body. And then when I do, one of the things that I do, and it's just invite you to do with me right now is to just shake a little bit. It can be a little bit of shake or a big shake, but just begin to shake your body. Ah, just it's about loosening up all these places that we tend to hold, to loosen. Feel your arms and your wrists and your shoulder blades and your hips and your legs, whatever your body. Once you start listening into your body will guide you into these places. So taking up, here, down, wherever your body wants to go. And just let that shaking continue. And releasing, like this morning, I was releasing my anxiety about maybe my power won't go back on when we're supposed to start. Shake a little bit longer. And then let it slowly subside. And then close your eyes for a moment, just to check in, to notice what happens when we just do that little bit of shaking. We didn't do that for very long. All the things I'm going to offer you are nothing that takes a lot of time. Another area we tend to hold tension is in the face. So just for a moment, you could just move the muscles in your face a little bit. Just actually do this sometimes when I'm at a stop sign, just to, we don't think about what kind of tension we're holding in our faces. I squeeze and I stretch. And then sometimes I even tap around my face. So see if that's, just notice which things your body goes, oh, wow, that feels really good. Some things will feel better than others. Yeah. Okay. And then particularly, let your awareness come to that space between your eyebrows. I think this space right here between our eyebrows, which we often do this with. It's a great spot to come into our awareness, and just, you can even put a finger there. Just say, let it relax, let it soften. I'm just doing a little circling here, letting it soften. This is all about re-regulating our nervous systems, which we don't even realize how much it gets hypered with all the stimulus that's constantly coming at us. So little things like this make a difference. Yeah. I don't know if you, some of you may be familiar with the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve goes all the way through the body and it regulates our systems. And a lot of what this does, when we calm ourselves, the vagus nerve calms the whole system. Calms. Even this, notice this motion. Try that for a moment. Just try that. Like that. Yeah. And try it again. It's just so simple. Calming. Yeah. There you go. So one thing I always say to people is, if you're not gonna move your body much in one day, do 3 things in your day. And that is to move your spine in 3 different directions. And this again is a way of waking up the body. So the first one is just, it's working the spine 3 different directions, as I said. The first one, and this you can do in any way that feels good, you can do it, and you just want to twist. You just want to twist. We're moving the tension out of our bodies in all of these ways. I'm just twisting. I'm letting my spine twist. I'm letting my head turn, And again, you can do this seated or standing. It's probably best standing. But you each are authority on your own body, so do what feels good. But just notice how this is. Notice how it is to free the spine up, especially if we're sitting so much. So a few more of those twists and twists. And while you're doing that, let the jaw go and twist. A few more. Just easy, easy. These are all simple and easy. And breathe. And then just let it subside. Let it just slow a bit. There. And now the next way is the spine going up and back and forth, the whole spine. So I go like this, but I'm just going to bring my arms up and just open my whole spine back and my tailbones back like this. And then I'm curving. I curve my whole spine, my tailbone. I bring my elbows together. I let my head drop. Breathe. I'm relaxing my toes. Notice that the toes will get tight many times. And then I come back and I open, inhale, bringing that breath, that fresh breath in. And then I come back and I curl. I especially feel this in my low back, which is a place a lot of people carry tension. Open and close and open. I just heard my neck crack. And close. Two more. Open. Feel that. Breathe. Open. And then round, giving the spine the other direction of stretch. And once more. Open and curve. And then just let yourself come back. And again, what's happening with your toes? And then the final way is side to side. And it's very just simple. We're just going to let the arms, one arm goes this way, the other stretches. So I'm just reaching. I'm just reaching. Yeah. And breathe into that side and see how your body is talking to you right now. Is it saying, oh, I haven't done this in a while, or oh, that feels good, whatever it is. Reach, and then the arms open and you reach the other way and feel that. Reach and come center and reach and open and reach and open once more and reach. Oh boy, that feels good. Open and reach, and then come back, and then just do a little wiggle. It's always good to come back. And all again, like this little shaking, it just takes a moment. It's just about bringing our awareness to it. Another thing that I find is really helpful is to step outside in nature. And I do something that's a 3-minute. I step out, I go face the sun with my eyes closed for 3 minutes, just 3 minutes. But what that does is raise the serotonin levels in your body, which turn into melatonin at night. But just the 3 minutes of stepping out. And this morning when I was feeling anxious about the power being out, I stepped out and I stood in the sun, and all of a sudden I noticed my shoulders were like this. And then I went, oh. So it's we often don't realize that we're carrying this. And another way I like to work with that is when I do notice it, I bring it up a little higher and then let go. So try that. Just let your shoulders raise up, 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 and then let it go. Up, 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 and then let it go. Yeah, and loosen right in there. And another place we hold a lot of tension is right in here. This is where we hold fear, a lot of fear and anxiety. So tap here a little bit, just tap right in the chest area. Gentle tapping. And then you could tap, if it's, you know what, it's not like real hard, but you could do it a little harder. Inhale, hold that breath for a moment. And then let it go. That begins to also let the nervous system relax a little bit. And a little more. Inhale, hold, and let it go. And then do a little rub here, and then go. It's like we're sending that anxiety and tension away. Very simple. Like that. Yeah. And again, a shake. Another very helpful thing to calm the vagus nerve is to put one hand here and one hand right here at the base of the skull, which is where the vagus nerve begins. Right here and here. If you're feeling like, put a hand here, and just close your eyes and breathe. 3 breaths. 3 breaths. And notice what happens. Yeah. And then gently you can let the hand go. Another place you could also put the hand is on your forehead. On your forehead. Just notice what happens there. It can be very comforting. Because our minds are working so hard. This is a way to say, let's take a moment to relax. And then you can let it. Sometimes another thing I like to do is I put my hands here, I give a rub, and I just take 3 strokes down to my belly. And up, and down, and up, and down. And then let it go. Another really helpful thing is to just place your hands right over your belly button and breathe. Just that. Maybe you're in a difficult meeting, or you're in a difficult conversation, or you're watching the news and it's stressful. Put your hands right here and breathe. It calms the system. And let your hands feel the breath come in there. Yeah. Another thing is rubbing your hands. Rubbing, feel that heat come in. Rub the hand, and then place the hands here and let them slide down here and here. And again, rub, and here, and here, and here. This is all about meeting ourselves, which our attention is so much outward, and to come back. There's a beautiful Native American phrase, which is me first, you second, with love, which is the equivalent of put the oxygen mask on your face first. And we forget that. We care so much about making a difference in the world, and we have to keep coming back. Have to keep coming back here so we can do that. Close your eyes again for a moment. And just once again, notice just that simple closing of the eyes and what a difference that makes. And again, as you do that, you can soften your jaw and let your feet soften. And breathing. Okay. And then as you're ready to let your eyes open again. So in the beginning, I guided you to breathe up the spine and down the front body and to bring a smile, just to let an image come that brings a smile. The reason for that smile is that it produces more oxytocin, the hormone oxytocin, and that's called the feel-good hormone. And smiling does that. Just smiling changes what's going on in your whole system. Such a simple thing. And the other thing I just want to bring to you is, again, to standing up can relieve stress, just to stand up, to remember, I need to stand, I need to pay attention. Makes a big difference. And the other thing is just pausing. That this is very helpful with that. But to just to breathe, just to come back and pay attention to your breath, as we did earlier, 3 breaths. And let's just do this for a moment. You can do it with your eyes closed. You inhale and feel this sense that you're inhaling belly, rib, chest. Hold it at the top for a moment. And then exhale. And let that exhalation be a little bit longer than your inhalation. We'll try that again. When we do that, it tells the body it's okay. It's okay. It's safe. It's a message to the body. So inhale belly, ribs, chest, hold for a moment, and then let that be a long exhale out. One more time, inhale all the way up to the chest. Hold. And let that breath come all the way down. That pausing. So in a moment, I'm going to pass this over to Sandra. I want to say that all the things that we've suggested, to notice how your body's feeling right now, and that it just takes a moment. Often people say, I don't have time. I don't have time to slow down. And what's true is you don't have time not to slow down. You don't have time not to stop. You can't afford that, because if we go and go and go and don't pay attention to what we're holding in here, we just get more and more stressed. So this coming back to the body, close your eyes once more. Soften your feet, shoulders softening onto the bone. Jaw easy. And then just for a moment, notice if there's one place in your body that maybe is aching or hurting a little bit, to bring some tenderness. You might touch that area just to bring some kindness and tenderness right through your own attention to your body. If you're standing, swaying is always a great thing. But feel that you're bringing attention, kind attention. Dropping the shoulders, and then let a smile come again. And sighing. I keep remembering all the things, but sighing is also, it's been scientifically proven that sighing is a great way to relieve stress. We do it unconsciously a lot. So I'm placing a hand on my heart and my belly. Just again, notice how you're feeling. And I'm going to, Sandra's going to give a little more of the theory in depth of what I've been sharing with you. So I'm going to switch over to you, Sandra.
Thank you, Karen. And just noticing, I feel in a different place than when we started, which feels good and strengthening. And I'm going to make some remarks, and there may be things that you want to remember from this, just like there may be things about Karen's guidance that you want to remember. But I just want to invite you to relax and let things kind of wash over you. We'll have a little time for chatting at the end and discussion and questions and getting to know each other a little better. But you'll have the recording, and so you can just kind of relax. Um,
And we'll also be sending you a letter with some
right.
reminders.
Thanks, Karen. That's right. So transforming fear. Big topic. So fear is in us all the way back to single cells, to however we began. It's all the way back. It's in our cells. It's coming to us from our ancestors. It's in our DNA. It's part of our survival. It's there. And it has many names. We fear sickness. We fear dying, aging, death. We fear for our planet, for everyone, for humanity, for all beings. We fear for our minds. We fear the unknown. Sigh. Fear is such an engine, a force of our human. One of my teachers said that if there was going to be one mark of human beings, it would be pain and fear. It's so central to us, that we know that, and it's used and it's marketed to work with us. It's used against us, right? Anti this, anti aging, anti everything, anti, you've got it, anti fear. So, hi, we see the harm that it creates and how it escalates and how it divides us all the time, from those we perceive as our enemies, from ourselves sometimes, from people that we love. It's such a force. It has, it's right here with us. So we can start to see that we've got patterns in how we tend to react to, as we're working with this attuning, noticing how our bodies are. Like Karen said, I didn't even realize my shoulders were still like this. And we start to recognize, it's a really interesting exploration, as how do you tend to react to fear? What happens to you? So some of us tend to go numb or ignore it. Some of us tend to get speedy, agitated. Some of us get angry. Some of us go into addictive patterns. Some of us sing as a motivating activist force, but then we exhaust ourselves and we feel hopeless, or we're flattened. And we might cycle between these kinds of wreck. Sometimes we're numbing out on Netflix or food or drinking or who knows what. Sometimes we're revved up. Sometimes we're yelling at someone in traffic. We can cycle between them. These patterns. So and we inherit some of these patterns from our families and from our culture, different cultural styles in working with fear. So I'm sure you already know this, but current trauma literature says, and it's evolving, that there's fight. We tend to go into fight. We tend to go into flight, freezing, fawning through pleasing, or flopping. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and flop. So there are currently 5, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are more added as the research develops. So that's the bad news. But the good news is, as much as fear is in us and has been passed on to us in different ways, back to the very beginning, so has the wisdom of how to work with it, or else we wouldn't be here. Equal to our fear and how we get hijacked or held hostage by it is also the wisdom of how to stay with it and to be resilient and to come back to the present and to be available. And, of course, each of us tend to forget this when we're completely in the grip of it. We forget that we know how to work with it, right? We're just reacting. We're terrified. We're freaked out. So you could call life simply an unfolding journey of feeling fear, noticing it, and how to work with it, and the practice and path of working with it. It's going to kind of come up through our whole lives. for sure. I could bet on that. How do we, if we can cultivate recognizing it, recognizing how we tend to go, and if we can cultivate coming back to the present and finding resilience through different ways. And we can train in doing that over and over again. And just, the purpose of fear, it's a path, it's to raise your awareness, not stop your progress. And Thomas Hubel also says fear is fuel. Fear is fuel. You might be wondering, what's the difference between fear and anxiety? Fear tends to have a name, a particular thing. I'm afraid of X, what's happening in the Middle East, for example. But anxiety is more generalized. It's a rippling in our nervous system. It doesn't necessarily have a name, and they can also have different sensations. So, okay, that's kind of the frame. Life is a path of working with fear. We feel afraid, we recognize it, we see if we can move through it. What do we need to do to take care of ourselves so that we can then be present and keep going for ourselves and for our loved ones and for the world? So I'm going to list some things that Karen has touched on, at least half of them in the guidance that she offered. And this is kind of like a menu of possibilities and it's a lot of things, and don't worry about it. But they're things to help you. It's nice I like thinking of it as a menu that when I'm in the grip, here's some possibilities of how I can come into the present and feel that grip and work with it, transform it. Here's some possibilities for transformation. So number one, attuning, just beginning to notice our bodily sensations, bringing attention to them just by doing that, they have a wisdom of their own that can naturally transform, creating the space to see, oh, I'm incredibly tight here. Can I just give that a loving attention and see what wants to happen? A natural movement or change may happen. Simple attunement. Doing things that integrate our body and mind, such as simply pausing, coming back into the present. Our mind might be incredibly speedy, but we're sitting here dull, standing up. Can I simply pause and take a few breaths? Things like meditation practice and the contemplative traditions are found on this principle of synchronizing body and mind in the same place. Can we come back to being present through integrating our body and mind? Breathing. You noticed how much Karen emphasized the breath in her guidance, bringing attention to our breathing. There's lots of things, if this is an area that you find helpful, bringing your attention to the in-breath and the out-breath, breathing in, the longer exhalation, holding it, all kinds of things you can do with simply, I'm just going to bring my attention to my breathing. I'm just going to breathe. Moving. Just getting up, standing up, and starting to wiggle around. Things can shift just naturally by starting to feel how your body wants to move. Just wiggle, waggle. Just like kids naturally move, right? They just get up. They're just their phone, but maybe at a certain point they do get tired of it and they just want to run around the block. Just getting up and moving. Walking, dancing, wiggling, all kinds of movement, any movement. When you're making breakfast, waiting for your coffee, who knows what you're doing, just getting up. I think some workplaces now have it built in that you have to take a break every 2 hours for 10 minutes, right? Like that. Shaking, if you know about working with trauma and seeing animals who shake after they've been traumatized, shaking your way through it. Grounding, such as Karen described, of going outside, feeling the sun, feeling the elements, let the sun come into you, which works on your nervous system, feeling the earth beneath you, taking a walk, being in nature. Let yourself be fed and strengthened by the connectedness to the natural world. Resourcing. You might have encountered this with things like somatic experiencing or other works when you're totally gripped in hatred or fear or terror or resentment or whatever it is. And someone might say to you, well, is there any part of you that doesn't feel that way? So maybe your pinky toe doesn't feel that way. And can you go there and feel that quality of resources and you're not all gripped? Or maybe you can't feel like I might feel, oh, this jacket that was my mother's. That's not gripped by how I'm feeling. And can you have a sort of pendulation or oscillation between the part of you that feels gripped and the part of you that feels resourced and present? A natural sort of dynamic exchange can begin there that can help to transform what's happening. Sounding, singing, tapping, humming. There's all kind drumming, humming and drumming. Lots of research supporting. And we, think of people sitting in circles around a campfire back for eons, drumming and humming and singing and just feeling transformative. Noticing what are called glimmers. You may have heard of this, sort of the opposite of triggers. In the same way you might get triggered by something, you might also get woken up by there's been this hummingbird that's been practically landing on my head in my backyard. So I think of that hummingbird and it instantly cheers me up. So things, beauty or things, something tastes great, or, yeah, and let yourself, Rick Hansen talks about, we're so good, we're wired to take in the bad, but we forget to take in the good. So when you, like, it's kind of like the smile at the end of Karen's wave that we do, the smile, like taking in a glimmer and really feeling it, someone you love, something beautiful, a scent, a sight, an art experience, who knows what, meeting your neighbor. Take it in, let yourself be bathed by it. Co-regulating with others. So when you're, calling a friend, being with your family, uh, being in circle. Like, isn't this amazing? Who knows? We'll find a little more about where we are. Who knows where we all are, but we're co-regulating in community right now. And the power of that. One of us might feel up and another one's feeling okay. And it's like there's a flow going, like medicine that helps us regulate our nervous systems. Creating, creative expression, all kinds of research. Think about how art cuts through and joy brings people together who may be of diametrically opposed points of view. And what it does for you to just cook or stitch or sing or dance or collage or paint or draw or write. Creating is really helpful. And getting near the end, limiting. Remember to limit, recognize when you're overdosing on the news, on the things that trigger you. Limiting. We do know how to limit. I'm going to put that away. I can't take it. I just need to put that away. It's not that I want to be uninformed. I just need to put that away for a while so I can come back to myself. And then finally, be curious about this. How just stay curious about being kind of trauma. Let's say the whole planet is traumatized right now. I want to be curious about how we as human beings have worked with trauma over time. I'm curious about maybe another article shows up somewhere. I'm going to look at that to see how do we tap into the wisdom of working with our fear and our traumatized reality, right? Okay, so that's it for the menu. And this will be in the recording. And we can have a few minute chat here now about what's coming up for you from doing the guiding, from hearing this. What do you know about yourself? Anything that you'd like to share? We can get acquainted just a bit.
And I would like to quickly, just because Martha wrote in the chat, thanks so
Thank you.
much, but I'm still a nervous wreck.
Yeah, right.
Is Martha still here?
Yes.
Yeah, Martha.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just have a question for you. Two things. How do you know that you're a nervous wreck? What does it feel like in your body?
Um, Rapid heart rate, very painfully tense muscle right here and back of my neck and my chest. Breathing is hard because I can take a deep breath and it doesn't like feel satisfying, and then you
Right.
get overly aware of breathing, and you
Yeah.
think, yeah,
Yeah.
I have a lot of anxiety anyway.
So I'll just say two things. One is if
Yes,
you
please.
put your thumb and finger together, is that part of you a nervous wreck?
No.
Okay. So that's a really great thing to remember. It's to come back to, like Sandra had said, that this part is not, you know. And this part is outside of the nervous wreck, the rest of the nervous wreck. And that in itself can make a difference. And the other thing is we often take a breath, right? We want to take a breath and then we don't have enough space. So when we want to try to get more air, you want to work at it less.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you just allow a softer breath to come in. And what will happen is that you'll find that there's a little more space as you let it be softer. Because what happens is when we try to take a breath, we're pushing against our holding. So that's what you're feeling. But if you do it softly, that can make a difference. So I just wanted to respond to.
Thank
you.
you.
And
Yeah.
Lorena has her hand raised, and then
Yeah.
David. Yeah, Lorena.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much. That was super helpful. And I decided I can make like a standing workspace with my computer because I have one of those things, and I never realized that until today. But then just one more thing. It was something my dog does, and I do it lately too. He like when he sighs, he like literally like he like pushes the air out like so
Mm.
heavily, and like even like his shoulders drop too, it seems. He usually does it when he's sitting down, and it just like I've started to do that too, and it almost like you can incorporate it with the exercises that we did, but it really just I call it a lucky sigh because that's what his name is. But it just like I don't know, the whole like instead of just breathing out like but the pushing it out and the like dropping of the shoulders like forcefully almost like feels like it gets it out even more. So if that helps anybody. But I really loved the exercises. And it definitely I can use it in my daily life and find it helpful. So thank you.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you.
David, did we just lose David?
No.
No, he's here. He's
Oh,
there.
there he is. David.
So thank you very much. It's good reminders about a lot of things. I appreciate that. Two, I would add, uh,
Please.
one is crying.
Yeah.
I mean, I turned off my camera. Uh, once we started relaxing, that's often what the first thing that happens the minute I relax, especially these days. It's just a lot of grief about all of this. So, and
Of course.
yeah. Second is, aside from just stepping outside in nature, whether you go outside or just opening a window, is just listening to bird sound. I'm a total bird nerd, and it's already about 15 years ago now that I learned how they call it birding by ear. You can identify birds by their vocalizations, and that's really cool to be able to identify them. But what I noticed was it transformed just my daily life. Like I suddenly noticed almost everywhere I went. If I pause for a second, there is a bird. Some bird is making noise. Um,
Drinking that in.
Drinking it in. It's
Yeah.
right now is really wonderful because things are singing. You know, spring is definitely well where I am in Oakland, California. Spring is fully here, and every day brings a new song right now. So
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Diane, you wrote in the chat the singing resistance. Can you share about
Oh,
that?
yeah. Oh, wonderful.
And
Like Minneapolis. Yeah, go ahead.
a couple of other things. First, it's interesting, David, when you said crying, when you, Sandra, were going through the list, and I'm a writer, so even though we're getting I mean, I just write things down. That's how I kind of process. So I was writing some things down, and when you said limiting, I started to cry because it's hard. I have a group of about 120. We call ourselves the Joyful Warriors. And if anybody wants to join, just let me know. But we're based in I'm in Allentown, Pennsylvania, but most probably close, I don't know, 80 to 90 are in this area, but we have some actually in the Bay Area, in Florida, in a bunch of different states. And I write emails to this group almost every day, and with news that you might not find elsewhere. I subscribe to 40 independent journalists, and I send action items, and I try to incorporate self-care tips, which I'm telling myself as well as everybody else, because I'm not always great at it. So thank you. This was really helpful. And I would love to offer this to the Joyful Warriors at some time. But with music, and I'll get to singing resistance in a minute, but one thing that's been really helpful to me, my son is a musician, and his group Baymala put from the Bay Area actually put out an album Sapling. And when I go outside and walk and play that music, that seems to be one of the only things that can get me to forget about politics and to just not feel stressed. So I just play my music and I walk. I don't do it enough, but when I do it, it's a stress reducer. But the singing resistance is, and I'm learning about it now. I think it started in Minneapolis. There are groups in Pennsylvania. I know there's one in Philadelphia and one in Doylestown, nothing right near where we are. So I'm trying to get together a singing resistance group here, but I'm also opening up a couple of Zoom meetings tomorrow and Friday to anybody. So if any of you want to start a singing resistance group in your area and you want to send me your email address, you can come to. We're figuring this out as we go. But the whole idea, and when you were playing Lucin by Ali Halpert at the beginning, my daughter is a friend of hers and I've met her, and that's one of the songs I sometimes will sing to myself or listen to when I'm walking, because that's something else that helps me. And I've sung it with, when we were a smaller group of Joyful Warriors, I've sung that. So music and singing, and it's helpful, but you have to get out of the chair and away from the computer to to do those things. But so with the singing resistance, my understanding is that they have a pretty elaborate website. They're also on Instagram. There are groups that are popping up. I think it did start, like you said, in Minneapolis. It can be any group anywhere. It could be church groups. It can be, choral groups. It can be, I'm just seeing what people want to do this, together in person here or in other places to start their own. And you have to kind of follow certain guidelines, which are basically to keep everything loving and peaceful and, in keeping with resisting this authoritarian regime.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, so I'm learning as I go, and
Great to know about. Really great.
so
Thank
I don't know where everybody is besides Oakland, but there could be one already near you. And just Google singing resistance. There is a website and they have a whole toolkit, and somewhere in there it says, find groups near you. So I think that's just empowering, and that can help you feel empowered, help you feel it can help or save our democracy. I think the whole idea is to not only save democracy, but to get democracy to be better than it was before, ultimately,
Yeah.
which we all want.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. David, did you have a comment?
Um, what Diane said just reminded me of something I'm trying to spread again. I did this in the 2020 election, is to try to help people combine something that isn't political that they just love doing.
Mm-hmm.
I did it with bird watching, but like and with something political. So like I led birding and canvassing events and bir webinars that were like interviews with bird world celebrities, and then we do
Right.
phone banking. But it can be cooking, it could be gardening, it can be singing, it could be because I'm trying to
Knitting, sewing,
know
quilting.
anything, and
Right.
because there are people already who will come to an event that is about politics,
Dance
and they'll do
parties.
it.
Yeah.
But I think there are so many more people who, if they're going to mostly get to do something that they just know is fun, Netflix and whatever,
Right.
It's a
So
win. It's a win
yeah,
for your
definitely.
being, and it's a win for the cause, both
Exactly. And
things.
especially if you bookend definitely the joy should come at the beginning and at the end. And yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you. I just want to mention we'll close, but we'll stay on. We do have one song we could move to end.
We like to dance out if we
We
can.
like to dance out, but I also want to say, David, you talked about grief. I'm offering a, befriending grief workshop on the 29th of March. It's online and it's a 2-hour workshop. I've done this a number of times and it's very potent to come together with a group to really go into our grief and share and befriend it. So if you are interested, we'll be sending out an email and you can uh, let me know. And I'd be happy to let you know about it.
She's leading it with two other wonderful people.
Yeah, yeah. So anything else before I play our song? Yeah, Diane.
One thing that's just kind of ironic when you were talking about peace before, I just happened to grab this mug this morning that someone gave me as a gift a few years ago. It says peace. It does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in your heart.
Exactly.
Yay.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And we invite you to get up and move. Here we go.
We have to find our heart songs all by